Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. This is the Rock Bridge Project. We've got several videos on it. I'll probably make a playlist out of it. We've been using our old Ford 555 to drag up these big old massive limestone boulders and get them placed across this wonderful creek crossing. And now we're using some salvaged limestone that I salvaged off a 1950s church not too long ago to kind of dress it up. We're making 4 pillars. I just can't stop looking at it because I think it looks so good. Let's see what we can get accomplished. Step 1, we gotta go grab some more stone from the stone yard with the side-by-side. My pallet mover's on the wrong side of the bridge. Not that it matters a huge, tremendous amount because I've got a few pallets that broke on me. I was gonna have to hand offload anyway. Well, it's not too big of a deal. I also can't tell you how many times on that church project I thought to myself, is this even worth it? But I can't tell you how cool it is to just come down here and pick through these resources I got sitting here. I get my string set up on this side because the next batch of mortar we get ready to mix up is going to carry over into here. Should be right there. A rock? Well, now that is surprising. So we'll go ahead and plumb down, scratch some marks into the concrete. The main thing I'm trying to accomplish with this string is just make sure that where the wall meets on top, it lines up. So at this point, I need to come up straight from here. I think I'm just going to lay the height block I need, and then we'll just kind of piece that in, I suppose. I'm not going to go through and cut all these with a grinding wheel or anything like that to make them super pretty. We're just going to break them. We have definitely by now established that I am not a mason. I just can't afford one. So, you know, we make it happen. I don't think the end result will be any different. Not being professional, I just think it takes me a lot longer to get there is all. I got that one stacked out over there. I'll show you here in just a second. Remember, we're core pouring these to get a little bit of strength out of them. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It just needs to hold the saccharine in here in a little bit, that's all. Very, very nice. That's quality work there. Yep. I'll have bricklaying companies calling me left and right after this. As far as how those ended up being level with each other, not too bad. It's just a touch off. But since we're kind of doing an arch, I don't think it's going to matter too crazy. Should be good enough for this project. So these over here are pretty much ready to go. I'll jump back and forth a little bit. There's some bigger holes I need to tuck point. I'm kind of letting some of the mortar set up as we do that, or as we wait for it. We'll go ahead and move the operation over to this side. The winter time or fall, or any time that it's not summer, makes it tricky to film with all the shadows and the trickery that the shadows play on us. Now, until I buy a studio where I can move the outdoors indoors, we just gotta work around it, I guess. I mentioned on the previous video we're putting these wall ties in to help tie this together when we core pour it. You can see the holes in there. This is normally, you'd bend that and you'd attach that to the wall sheathing of your house, and then that would go like that, and that kind of holds that brick veneer or stone veneer to the side of your house if it's just a veneer stone and not a structural stone. But I think this will be a good, inexpensive, easy way to tie this to the concrete we were going to put in the center of it. So I've got this one stacked kind of how I want it. It's pretty close to it. I'm just kind of tooling the joints a little bit. Real fancy with the jack handle. You'll notice that this corner and that corner on that end are just a little different than the ones I did on the front. And there is a reason for that. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm just going to rub these down. These are going to be underground, but it kind of helps seal everything up too a little bit. I still got a little bit more to go on that one. We got to go a little higher with it. But just because of the time of the day, I definitely need those two filled with concrete so they can set enough before we move on to the next step, which will be hopefully into the day tomorrow. So let's just go ahead and have a terrible time, huh? Shall we? High strength 5,000. Nice. Well, good morning to you. Oh, there's been a lot going on. I know this video has been a little chaotic and not the most organized, but there's just a lot going on in life in general right now. Some exciting things though, so I'll be sure to share it with you here in the future. But I'll start by saying this. Yesterday evening did not quite go to plan, and that's because of me not paying attention. Let me show you what happened. So see how this fella's sticking out just a little bit? Well, I went to core pouring these, and I thought, you know, let's be over the top with it. I bought this concrete vibrator whenever I did the YouTube Yacht concrete floor. I was like, I own the thing. We might as well make sure it's good and consolidated. And as I was watching it go down, this block said goodbye. You know what I mean? And everything kind of around the outside there. Now that's fine. I wasn't too worried about it. I jammed some rebar up against it. She's butted out a little bit, but dirt will be up to here anyway. Doesn't really matter. And the concrete's in there. Concrete's in there up to right there. Okay? So we will have a cold joint, but with 3 pieces of number 4 rebar for a pillar, I think that'll be just fine. Moral of the story, I got a little bit too eager with the old vibrator there and kind of pushed that out. So trying to avoid a repeat of that situation, I waited overnight for that one to set up before I put any concrete in it. And because of the size of this one, I went ahead and filled that one up about halfway. And I did run the vibrator in there to consolidate it and let the concrete get underneath all the stones and everything like we want. Tucked a couple extra pieces of number 4 bar in there. And we can get that one capped off the rest of the way. But one thing I said I was going to explain but never did is why this one sits so far back compared to the other ones. It sits about 2 feet further that way. And the main reason is I wanted to get these pins all the way down on solid bedrock so we could get everything tied together. And we'll drill one more pin right here, which is into this stone, which will get it tied together. And then I'm going to hammer drill down into this as well. Now this is that solid core pour we did with that number 5 pin that also goes into that. We'll do a little bit of horizontal, and then we'll lay one more 8 on top of this and core pour that with that horizontal like I'm talking about, and that'll hold everything in this corner all tight together, and then that'll give us a good flat spot up here at the same elevation. So now all 4 pillars will be in the same spot. I want people driving over this thing for hundreds of years. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be long and gone and somebody coming up in their new spaceship and being like, now what the heck is that for? Why didn't they just put it on hover mode and float across the creek? I want this thing to last for a while because I got a comment, and let's just daggone it, let's address it. I'm in a super good mood this morning. The G Fuel's got me fired up, ready to go. The weather's fantastic. It's November. I love this time of year. The thing is, somebody said, that is a lot of work for a bridge in the middle of the woods. My man, buddy, listen, this isn't a bridge in the middle of the woods, okay? This is the bridge in the middle of a vision. You're not seeing the big picture. Eventual pond, cabin on top of that hill with a lookout tower where you can look up on Kuntz Ridge, and maybe tall enough you can even gander over that ridge over to the river. Another cabin sprinkled down there on that hill. 2 more cabins behind you sprinkled around the eventual pond. There's a vision for this property, okay? And this bridge, it's a big part of it. It's gonna be something people drive through when they come out here. I want it to look good. I want it to last a long time. Enough jabbering. Let's do some daggone work, bud. They didn't come here to listen to you. They came here to see you work. I'll wait on that. I've got some cracks and holes and voids. Look underneath that rock. We're going to use up the mortar we got left, which is about 5 bags. We're going to go ahead and go through and kind of start tuck pointing that, try to get all those gaps filled, because it is supposed to rain tomorrow. And this time of year, once it rains, it probably won't dry out a tremendous amount again. So let's try to get that done. That includes underneath as well. Let me take you underneath real quick. Show you the next step. See this big old gap right there? We need to do something about that. She's solid the way she's sitting now, but once we start driving over it, if we can shorten the span, I mean, heck, it's probably 18 inches from there to there. That'll be better for it in the long run. So I'm going to start tossing some stones under here, bring some mortar underneath with me, and see if we can't get that hole filled. Definitely getting all those void spaces filled in. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna let what I have under there set up for just a little bit though before we start kind of filling in the final little cracks. Let's go ahead and this thing is looking so cool, and I'm so happy with the way it's turning out. You always start with a vision in your head. You're just not quite sure what it's going to turn into. Let's hop over here and show you everything we've done. I got that crack filled in, put some number 3 bar in there. That should be fine. I'm not saying it's not going to crack along there, but it should interlock itself enough. It's not going to push down through. The last thing I want to try to get done today is right here. I want to lay stone across here and one more course up, so I can take some Sackrete and just kind of level this up, bring this up just a touch, nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna try to take the hammer drill and chisel just a little bit of a shelf out of there so the rock lays, well, this stone lays a little bit nicer for us. See where we're at here. Never did check. Just kind of hoping we get lucky. You don't get much luckier than that. That side is about a half high and it's just dry stacked. So by the time we put the mortar on there, we should be pretty close to where we need to be. Maybe just a touch low, but we can cheat it. We're gonna just let that chill for a second and figure out our block situation. I think maybe in this corner I need to try to sneak a 2 in here first for this shorter section. And then if I could get another little, I know it seems silly, but if I could get another little 2 section low in this mess to where I can set a long, yeah, then I could set a long 4. So that spaces out perfect to where a 5 would come right across the top of that, which is what I'm trying to do. Oops. 5 is going to be a whole lot of weight. So if I could get another tucked on one of these lips just so it's got something, I want something solid to sit on other than the mortar, you know. Pretty close to it. Okay, I like what we're looking at now. See right there. And we'll go ahead and lay another 5 on top of that. That'll help lock all that together. I'm not going to butter each end. We're just going to tuck pointer. Gap's going to be a little wide, but I'm not going to be too picky about it. There is a lot of potential for regret with this next decision. I got just a few bags of Saccharine left. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. I'm going to have to move them to storage or something anyway, so I figure I might as well mix them up and go ahead and gently place a little Saccharine along this edge. Might just lay something here like I did there, just to help hold that in for now. I was hoping for a big heavy rainfall so we could have some water rushing under this thing to finish the video off, but there's just enough rain to kind of take the dust out of the dirt, which is fine because we've got some more dirt work coming up, so I'm not against that. We'll just have to save that rushing water waterfall effect for a future video. I know a ton of you guys and gals that watch this channel have that big vision, that big picture capability like I'm talking about for what we envision, and it's gonna look cooler than a state park. It's like when you go and you see all the old CCC work and all the rock work you see at some of these state parks. That's what we envision for this, and that's what we're gonna keep working on as we continue to push forward with these projects. I can't thank you guys enough for watching these videos. It is what allows us to do what we are doing. I hope you're enjoying the progress on this. It is exceeding my expectations, and I can't wait to see how it all finishes out.